Okay. Welcome you all to our first weekend session. Morning time, we mainly focus on practice, pranayama practice. Also in coming days, we will learn about asanas also, which will support the pranayama practice. Like starting from how to sit, how to arrange support when we are lying down. What are the postures we can prepare, we can practice before starting the pranayama practice. We'll try to introduce at the beginning of practice. We do few weeks, then afterwards you are going to use those postures repeatedly. You can practice. These evening sessions, weekend evening sessions, we will explore all the aspects of pranayama, starting from what is prana, what we want to achieve, and each technique, details of it, technical details of it, and how we have to adjust as per one's conditions. Along with that, based on your practice, whatever the doubts you have, or whatever you want to know further, you can raise your questions. We will try to find clarifications, answers for that. So that will be the focus on weekends, evening sessions. Already we have got few questions. But let us start to understand about pranayama practice. All the yoga practitioners hear this word again and again, prana, pranayama, and a lot of explanations given through various teachers, also in various books. What is prana? You might have read or heard life force. Prana is the life energy, the source of our existence, or with that existence, with that presence, prana's presence, we are alive, or we are moving into various activities. But we need to inquire, we need to ask a little more. What is the meaning of life? Or what is life? We simply say, if a person able to breathe, as long as the breathing taking place, he is alive. She is alive. When not able to breathe, no life. Breath gone, life gone. So we simply relate only with the breath for the life. Now, when we look what we are breathing, what we are inhaling, what we are taking in, we don't go to a particular place to search for the inhalation. We just take the air, whatever is there, we are surrounded by that. And our understanding is we are taking in oxygen and we are exhaling, releasing out carbon dioxide. But when we are releasing carbon dioxide, it is also going into the atmosphere. It is also in the air. So how we separate it? Taking only oxygen. So when we look into that, it is not only we are taking the oxygen in our atmosphere, in the surrounding space. Along with oxygen, there are many other gases. Nitrogen, carbon, oxygen, all put together. In fact, the percentage of oxygen is very less. It's more of nitrogen. So we don't separate it when we are inhaling. After inhalation, the separation process is happening. We are inhaling both nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, like the whole air, all the gases together. After inhaling, that's where the process happening, keeping the oxygen, not even completely we are keeping it. Part of that oxygen, the rest along with nitrogen, carbon, all those things, we are releasing back into the atmosphere. So actually what is happening with our respiratory system? This filtering process, taking the whatever the gas, whatever the air in the atmosphere, including carbon dioxide, separating it, taking the oxygen certain percentage and releasing other gases out. Now, that means, can we say the prana, the life force, is in oxygen? Doesn't seem so. Why? Trees are alive not because of oxygen. Plants, trees, they are taking in what we don't want. The carbon dioxide, the carbon gases. It is using that for their survival, and they are releasing the oxygen. That's why we want to have more green, more plants, more trees. Which is releasing more oxygen, which we need. Why? The mechanism is like that. The body constitution is like that. Our body constitution needs oxygen for the whole system to function. There are theories. When we meet aliens, those who are living, probably or surely living in some other planet, their body constitution may be different. They may need nitrogen for their survival. They may need, like trees, carbon dioxide for their survival. So the system requires this oxygen for it to function. So we are inhaling, keeping the oxygen, releasing the other gases out. If you understand this, that means the life, what we are calling life force, It is not just in the gases. It is not just in the oxygen. It is just our body functions with the oxygen. All the mothers probably knowing this, but in fact, if you are not giving attention, when the baby is breathing, using its respiratory system, the lungs, only after it comes out of the womb, after delivery. Before that, is it alive or not? It has a life or not? Lungs are not functioning, but still it is alive. How the baby is alive inside? The oxygen going from the cord, from the placenta. It takes from that blood. So it is connecting with its umbilical cord. So through the blood, oxygen is going. So the body, the baby's body, not only growing, also using that oxygen and alive. And there are also a lot of debate when actually the life is forming. Even science is not clear about it, different theories. When the conceiving time, when the life, the men's cell joining with the egg, is it that time or after few weeks, after a month, when actually life is getting into that baby? When we see through the microscope, there are a lot of seemingly life forms, viruses, bacteria, single cell life. It also has the movement. It also has some energy. We simply say, okay, it is bacteria, it is virus, but it contains certain energy. That's why when we get COVID virus, that energy is not suitable for our body condition. We simply say virus. It's also form of life in a certain way. So when we equate prana to life force, we have to ask this question first: what is life? What is that thing which is called life within us? If we stop breathing, the body is not functioning, the life force is not there. So if we see oxygen, what we are inhaling is the life, no, because the other life forces, other living beings not using the oxygen. If we just say any type of, okay, this whole gases is the life force, which is also not the condition for many situation. Life just forms, even in a small one cell. That means when we simply say prana is life force, it is the energy, but in what way it is controlling our life, or what way it is setting as a base for our life, we don't know yet. At least our own experience is not revealing. So actually what we are doing with the breath, how it is connecting with this life force, the aim of pranayama is to find answer for that. You know, a lot of books written, teachers also saying, okay, you do pranayama, you will be healthy, you will be calm, you can relax well, you will be energized. That is not the purpose. It is the side effect actually. By pranayama practice, if you are calm, quiet, happy, it is the side effect. Like you take some medicine, you get some side effect. You do pranayama, you get some side effect, good effect, calmness, quietude, happiness, relaxation, energize. But what we want to get from the pranayama practice is to find answer what is life, what is this life force, where we get the energy. Not only human beings, if when we look around everywhere, the energy is there. Air have some energy, fire have some energy, water have some energy. So energy seemingly it is there everywhere. But when we say prana, only one way we are separating is life energy, life force. That is what not clear. A book's written many definitions. Don't just believe it. We have no idea what is this life. We have no idea what really happens after death. We have no idea, is it we need to do pranayama only when we are alive? After death also we have to do. If the prana life energy, that means we have to increase the life energy. We have no idea how far it is. So that is what we are going to find out. Experiential approach. So the instrument, the tool we have is our breath. Because when we increase the breath flow, when we regulate the breath movement, it is bringing change in our energy system. And what ways we get the energy and what ways we spend the energy and how it is related with the breath. What is the inhalation? What is exhalation? All these things we will look tomorrow because we need to understand what is energy flow, how we are receiving the energy and how we are spending the energy. We may don't know about what is life, but this we know. We have been spending a lot of energy every day. Also, we are gaining the energy. So, what is that equation? We will see that. But for now, we need to have this clarity. Breath is not prana, but breath is the tool instrument to reach, to connect, to regulate the prana. What is prana? It is mentioned as life force, life energy. But what is life energy? Is it just making us just to alive? It can be get only through the breath. If we ask these questions, we have different answers. There are many experiments done. Many yogis completely shut themselves in a place where there is no air, no oxygen. But still, they were alive for a number of days. It will be interesting to know those experiments. Then you will see we use the breath, but it is not prana. Prana is that energy movement, energy source, energy force, which is the foundation, the base for our existence. So we are regulating the breath in order to regulate our energy flow. So the word, Sanskrit word, pranayama, is a compound word. Pranasya yama. You can separate that way. Controlling of prana. Basically, we are controlling the breath to control the prana, or pranayama, regulation of prana. So regulation of prana seems better than controlling. We don't want to control, then it comes with certain force. We want to regulate it more in an affirmative way, more in a positive way. We are regulating the breath, through that we are regulating the pranic flow, pranic movement, regulating our energy, which that we do everything. Which we will look into that tomorrow. Now I look into the questions one by one. So the first question, based on our practice, let's see, is the different length of breath because of the different rhythm of breath. Is there have any relationship with the volume of breath? So I am understanding this question this way. As we are taking to different part, chest, diaphragm, abdomen, pelvic floor, we go into the length changes according to that where we want to do that. And the rhythm also changes. Forceful inhalation, forceful exhalation, quick exhalation, inhalation, slow, steady inhalation, exhalation. So the rhythm changes. And also, what is the volume relationship? Volume, if you take a glass, you pour water, size of the container, say 100 ml, so it has certain volume. We generally inhale, exhale, based on the way you do the breathing, the volume of that inhalation amount will differ, will change. We are going to explore that, about this rhythm, about the length, about the volume. Inhalation is one act, one action. But that inhalation has these factors: length, the rhythm, the depth, the volume, the force. So which we will study, which we will explore through practice. So that length changes because of your rhythm changes. Based on the volume, how you are doing, the whole pranic flow, pranic energy, or the regulation of the prana will change. So there is a lot of connection is there. Yes. we will study. That's what we are going to do in the coming sessions. Okay. Can I practice, next question, can I practice asana directly after pranayama or need relaxation? Or need after relaxation, you have to practice. See, the time we are practicing is easily 30 to overall, 30 to 40, 45 minutes. If you are just doing 10, 15 minutes at the beginning of your asana practice, you can continue. Say you are doing 10 minutes of pranayama and you are getting into asana practice, fine. But you go into longer, deeper pranayama practice, you need to get into shavasana to balance it, to get into a same kind of passive condition of the body, breath, as well as the mind. You need to go for relaxation. After that, don't immediately jump into asana practice. If you do, you start with passive postures like Adho Mukha Virasana, supported Adho Mukha Svanasana, supported Uttanasana. You go with the passive postures and increase the way you are getting into asana practice, the intensity gradually increases. You don't straight away jump into sun salutation or flow based practice. Okay? So we will see more about asanas also along the way. Next question. Why I feel numbness sitting in swastikasana within a short time, but not happening sitting in virasana a long time. You just need to check your hip groin, hip joint, also your thigh muscles. So probably you are sitting in virasana, your practice also more than sitting in sukhasana. Working on the hip, groin, and thigh muscles will change that. And also, instead of simply sitting on the height is one thing, but adjusting even swastikasana without straining your hip and the groin. So at the beginning, you may be comfortable for 10 minutes. After practice, you will be comfortable more time. 15, 20, 30, 1 hour. So it's only how do you train your body. Also, if there is differences, hip, groin, thigh muscles, your back muscles. That's why everybody's saying you need to have good amount of asana practice to go into pranayama and meditation, because the body will be ready for that. So we will look into that also, sitting position, how to use the props when that kind of numbness coming very quickly at the beginning stage, how to take care of it. We will see. Can I practice in sitting last few days of menstruation? During menstruation, you don't go for any strenuous activity, any action where you easily spend more energy. So sitting upright, also you need to spend some energy. You need to put some effort. If that action, you are sitting up and observing the breath during menstruation, you don't go for deeper techniques of pranayama, but observing the breath is good. Doing basic techniques are good. So when you are doing those techniques in that upright position, if you feel you are energized, body is getting help by that, it is fine. Otherwise, don't do it with force. You better do supine posture. Don't even last a few days of menstruation also. You see that you are not doing it forcefully. Okay. Maybe before going to the other question, I have one more question. We practice with inhalation starting from chest downward to pelvic area and exhalation on reverse route. Is this also diaphragmatic or abdominal breathing? We can say that. Name, you can give anything. There are some, the way, the name they call it. But this is what we are doing is, it is just to give familiar with various parts of the body associated with breath regulation. Also, when you change the breath length, will help you to see your capacity and how your body reacts to that. Okay. Now, do we get same effect if we inhale starting from pelvic, abdominal, or upward towards the chest? So which is the reverse way? You go the inhalation until the chest, diaphragm, navel, abdomen, pelvic floor. The length is, you are increasing it. If you start from pelvic floor, you may reduce the length. So first you are inhalation from the pelvic floor, right? The length is going all the way. Then when you take the inhalation to the navel, abdomen, then the length is shortened. So it is the other way. You can do also. It is not that you should not do, but the effect varies. Instead of gradually moving upward or gradually increasing the length, you are doing the reverse action, gradually reducing the length. If the length pelvic floor area from there. If that long length, if you're not comfortable, you don't get the same effect. If you have the comfortable long breath, probably same effect. At the beginner stage, starting time of practice, my suggestion would be go step by step, increase the length. Okay. Any consideration for different body conditions? Example, having cold, fever, body type, or suffer from some medical conditions. For this, no. For the one what we are doing these few days, you just to do whatever you can. But when we are going into other techniques, yes, then you have to change accordingly. So which we will see. Okay. Next question. The sitting position make me very edgy, especially when I cannot find the feeling in the practice going to the diaphragm. I got sweat on the head. And I feel sitting higher have tension in the hips, while sitting lower have tension on my back. I cannot sit for a long time. How to improve? Okay, let me answer only this first. So basically, asana practice is the key. I don't know how long you are practicing asana. So see that you are doing at least 90 minutes of asana practice every day. And especially whichever the area you are finding that is not helping, your hip or back or thing. But we will learn before that, in this kind of conditions, how you have to sit. But basically, asana practice. Check that. The controlling position of breath is using mind to control the expanding, contracting of the corresponding muscles to reach the feeling of breath. Is it like this? Okay, next question. Also can feel the difference between the left side and right side. Do I need to adjust? Okay, this I will answer later. I do a brief explanation what we are doing. When we are inhaling, entering through the nostrils, passage, windpipe, filling the lungs. Now, the air going within that lungs have the deeper packets. So the process happening, and then it is throwing the other gases out, right? Carbon dioxide or nitrogen, all other gases, keeping certain amount of oxygen. All these processes happening within your respiratory system. So when we say first the chest area, I was saying about the diaphragm. Diaphragm is like a plate, muscle layer across. If you see from here all the way across. It is separating your chest cavity with the abdominal cavity. So the air, the breath we are inhaling, it is not going beyond this respiratory system. It is not really going to your diaphragm. It is not going into your abdomen. It is not going into your pelvic floor. The whole air movement is within your respiratory system only. Then, what is that we are saying? Inhale until the diaphragm, inhale until the navel, inhale until the pelvic floor. It is just giving your body parts a connection with your breathing movement. Why? When you increase the length, this area, diaphragm, abdomen, pelvic floor, is getting some follow effect, follow up movement. It is like you take a stone, throw in the water. The stone going into only one point, but it creates the ripples, right? Same way, you inhale. As you inhale, the intercostal muscles between the ribs, there is intercostal muscles. Then inside the lungs, where there is some contraction, expansion happening. So when we inhale, as the expansion happening here inside, inside the lungs also having that expansion. You can see that the whole rib cage is broadening, opening. So because of that, the layer diaphragm, it's a dome-shaped diaphragm. From that dome shape, it is inflated, it is going down. Why? The lungs expanding, intercostal muscles expanding. Because the diaphragm going down, abdomen is responding. It is receiving that further ripple effect. Because of the abdomen, your pelvic floor area. So that's why it is associated with the length of the breath, right? When the inhalation is longer, more movement of the diaphragm, abdomen, and the pelvic floor. If it is steadier. There are some techniques we use that abdomen muscles, abdomen area to regulate that breath flow. We will learn. But you don't use any parts of the body. You don't deliberately tighten the abdomen to increase the length. Instead, you imagine as though the breath is going down to the diaphragm, as though the breath going into the abdomen, as though the breath going there into your pelvic floor. So it's more of a visualization from the mind rather than what we are doing now. Rather than we are using the abdomen or pelvic floor to lengthen the breath. See the difference. If you have to use the abdomen area, I will instruct clearly what you have to do with the abdomen. So right now, it is just as though the breath is going. Okay. And breath, I also can feel the difference between the left side and right side body. Though I need to adjust, if need, how to adjust during this process. For the current technique, you can't do much adjustment. You just go through with the flow. We will learn some other techniques, and through that technique, you can get the balance between the right side and left side. As of now, this particular technique, connecting the breath flow with the different parts of the body, just go ahead, go with that, whatever that happens now. Okay. It is easy to feel chest part, but not clear feeling in diaphragm and abdomen part during pranayama. Yes, because the chest expanding, intercostal muscles, lungs expanding. So you feel it very easily. Diaphragm, it is not this direction, upward, downward. It's across. So also it is already not in that flat line. Instead, the muscle have the dome shape. So it's already upward. And when the chest is expanding, it's pushing down. You have to be extremely sensitive to aware to have that understanding experience. You have to, because it's happening on the inner side, also direction is different. Abdomen, probably you can feel it when you are lying down and take the hand there. Easily you can see with the inhalation, exhalation, that puffing, reducing, shrinking, you can feel it. The diaphragm is the very challenging one. Which also when we are doing Uddiyana Bandha, the certain technique, we can feel that. We'll go step by step. You cannot find feeling of pelvic floor breath. Okay, I'm sure not only you are not alone, many people. So first we need to know what is pelvic floor. We need to know what are the muscles of pelvic floor and how the movement is happening exactly. So don't worry now. You have the awareness now. You are not able to feel the pelvic floor muscles. So that's what I need. You know pelvic floor is there, muscles are there, but you are not able to aware of it. So that's what we want to learn, we'll learn. You will see one day. You will feel that one day. There is no feeling of abdomen when sitting, but having feeling of abdomen when lying. Yeah, as I said before, lying down very easy. Or you should have a big belly. So if you have a big belly, sitting time also you will feel it. So if you don't have the belly, don't worry. So don't work for the belly. Instead, let us work for how to feel it in the sitting position. We'll do that. Do you mean navel breath and pelvic floor breath is to make the mind there naturally happening, or through pulling down of the diaphragm inhalation reach to pelvic floor. So I think I answered already. So as I said, it's not the breath going, it is the movement of the diaphragm because of the lung expansion, and more of visualization, or we associate the length of the breath with that these various parts. Okay. We'll see 2 or 3 more questions, other questions tomorrow. This morning practice, I still feeling there is a sweating and hotness in the whole body, especially abdomen part. As observed my head, the breath is not in the head. Why? Okay. I don't get it clearly. What do you mean by the breath is not in the head? Okay. Yeah. So let us understand this way, that the hot sensation, sweating, when you are doing this kind of lengthening activity. A lot of beginner practitioners are those who are giving attention to the breath and start to increase the length, the reaction from the body, we can say even resistance from the body if the body is not trained, happening this way: sweat, feeling heat sensation. Other possibility, you are lengthening the breath with certain force. Either you are tightening the abdomen or you are making it longer beyond your capacity. So all this possibility is there. Also, you need to check, is it happening in the sitting position only or lying down also? So that means something wrong with the way you breathe. Very importantly, check the weather outside. So if it is humid conditions, you just need to be there, you may sweat. So you need to see that it is not happening because of the weather. What do you have to do when you feel that heat sensation or sweating? Don't regulate, you don't lengthen. Instead, you have to just observe the breath. Natural breath, just observe. There are many possibilities. If you ask why, I can give many reasons. But let us first see what should not do. So when you sweat, when you feel heat sensation, don't continue. You just observe the breath. And along with the other techniques, you will learn. During practice, suddenly I feel coldness in the body. Thoughts of taking the cloth and not continuously come and go. This time, or I need to stop and go to taking clothes, or need to draw my attention back from that thought. No, you need to see, is it is just your sensation? You really feel that cold sensation outside. Say you have cold sensation at your spine, maybe at the back, or cold sensation at the chest. The sensation is different, but actually getting cold is different. Heat sensation is different, but actually you feel the heat in the skin muscle level is different. When we are working on this energy movement, energy flow, this whole prana is nothing but energy, right? You will get these kind of sensations: cold sensation, shivering sensation, heating sensation, all will be there. But it is happening within the pranic plane, pranic structure. It may be not on the physical structure. So if you feel cold sensation, first you touch and see, is it some ice is there? Is it your skin muscle is really cold? Or is it the energy sensation? So in that case, you just observe. You just aware where it is happening, how it is happening. If you get this kind of thought process, oh, I have to remove my shirt, it is so cold, or I need to add maybe a jacket, sweater. You can try also 1 or 2 times, see that it will not help. It is not happening because of that. If it is on the pranic plane, on the energy field, physical level, skin muscle level is different. Energy body different. So you be aware of it, and if it is increasing, if there is a gradual increase, don't do it. You just lie down and relax. Sometime it may happen continuously for a few days. When it is increasing, stop. But you can see after a few times or after a few weeks of practice, you will not get the same sensation. It will be different. So you need to know that difference. Okay? What is the phase one? Okay, what causes this eyebrow area? Raise when you breathe in? Should not. If the eyebrow is moving up with this bone, you are putting some strain there, force there. You are not keeping your facial muscles, eyebrows, eyelids, eyelashes, eyeballs. You are not keeping it passive. It is not that the eyebrows raising, you are raising. It is not raising on its own. So you have to maintain that passive state. It's only breath flow. Don't do with any parts of the body unless it is required. Like sometimes we use the abdomen. Sometimes even we use the hand to lift the trunk, lift the chest. That's a different action. But eyes, eyebrows, these whole facial muscles, passive. Total passive. You should not use any support, any force from there to breathe, to inhale or exhale, any of these regulation. Okay. I have more questions, but feel swelling. Swelling means again some tension. Oh, bones rise, bro, bones. Okay, I don't know, rising or swelling. So swelling, if it is sensation of swelling means some, definitely some force is there. Heaviness, you feel heaviness. It is not swelling actually, it is you feel heaviness. That can happen when your practice, you are not getting used to have long practice, and also the breath is longer, more longer than your capacity. So that heaviness should come down. It should not happen. So that's why when you are doing supine position, also shavasana, that will help to balance it. The heaviness will change. Okay, so I'm glad to see your interest to practice pranayama every day, at least for the next 100 days. But I have to warn you, at the beginning you will have a lot of enthusiasm, lot of interest. After few days, every day morning will reduce. Okay, today we take a break. We are practicing, the mind will say, we are practicing too much. Let us relax today. Let us sleep a little longer. Let us do in Shavasana all the breathing. It will come with, lot of excuses. And also, the mind will say, after a few days or weeks, it is boring. This teacher always saying inhalation, exhalation, exhalation, inhalation, inhalation, exhalation. The whole 1 hour is just inhalation, exhalation. There is nothing else. Because asana practice, you go varieties, right? You can talk about inner feet, inner knee, inner thigh, outer feet, outer thigh, front thigh, back thigh, spine, shoulders, arms, neck, standing posture, sitting posture, forward bend, back bend, inversion. On top of that, we have many props: block, belt, blanket, bolster, ropes, chair. So that asana practice is more interesting, more varieties, different ways can do, different feeling also happening immediately. It's more action, right? But pranayama practice is going into the passive state, also limited technique. Very easily the mind get bored. So asana practice is like an action thriller movie, non-stop chasing from the beginning, until the end. It's a non-stop action movie. But pranayama practice is like old movie, very slow, like a melodrama. There is no thrilling. So the mind will get bored. Be aware, tell to the mind, I am committed and I want to see what is really happening when I practice continuously. Don't get into the trap. Okay, 1 day holiday, 1 day relaxation. One day I do myself because video is there. I will see the video later, I will do. All kinds of excuses will come. When you make a point, you are doing that continuously. And see the effect after practicing that regularly. We will continue. The other questions, furthermore, tomorrow. Rest well. See you soon. Thank you all. Namaste.
Namaste, sir. Thank you.